and welcome or welcome back. Today we will be looking at the May-June 2018 Paper 1 items 11 to 20. And here is this tip that I keep repeating every time because it's very important. Read the excerpt at least 3 times. Read it twice, then read the questions. Read the excerpt again. This is from wise teachers everywhere. So I will read the excerpt once, but I would advise you to pause and read again, then read a third time. If you have the physical copy, you can go ahead and use that. When we get to the questions, I will pause after reading each question to give you a chance to respond, and then I will reveal the correct answer to you. If you have any questions about any of these answers or anything in the excerpt, feel free to ask in the comments. So let's go. The maid shows in Mrs. Linde dressed in traveling clothes and shuts the door after her. In a dispirited and somewhat hesitant voice. Hello, Nora. Uncertain. Hello? You don't recognize me. No, I don't know, but wait, I think, exclaiming. What? Christine, is it really you? Yes, it's me. Christine, to think I didn't recognize you. But then how could I? More quietly. How you've changed, Christine. Yes, no doubt I have. In 9, 10 long years. Is it so long since we met? Yes, it's all of that. Oh, these last 8 years have been a happy time, believe me. And so, now you've come to town too. Made the long trip in the winter. That took courage. I just got here by ship this morning. To enjoy yourself over Christmas, of course. Oh, how lovely. Yes, enjoy ourselves. We'll do that. But take your coat off. You're not still cold. Helping her. There now, let's get cozy here by the stove. No, the easy chair there. I'll take the rocker here. Seizing her hands. Yes, now you have your old look again. It was only in that first moment. You're a bit more pale, Christine, and maybe a bit thinner. And much, much older, Nora. Yes, perhaps a bit older, a tiny bit, not much at all. Yes, perhaps a bit older, a tiny bit, not much at all. Stopping short, suddenly serious. Oh, but thoughtless me, to sit here chattering away. Sweet good Christine, can you forgive me? What do you mean, Nora? Softly. Poor Christine, you've become a widow. You poor thing, how much you must have gone through. And he left you nothing? No. And no children? No. Nothing at all then? Not even a sense of loss to feed on. Looking incredulously at her. But Christine, how could that be? Smiling wearily and smoothing her hair. Oh, sometimes it happens, Nora. So completely alone, how terribly hard that must be for you. I have 3 lovely children. You can't see them now. They're out with the maid, but now you must tell me everything. No, 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 tell me about yourself. You remember that Torvald left the department when we were married? There was no chance of promotion in his office, and of course he needed to earn more money. But that first year he drove himself terribly. He took on all kinds of extra work that kept him going morning and night. It wore him down, and then he fell deathly ill. The doctor said it was essential for him to travel south. Yes, didn't you spend a whole year in Italy? That's right. It wasn't easy to get away, you know. Ivar had just been born, but of course we had to go. But it cost a frightful sum, Christine. But it's lucky you had it when you needed it. Well, as it was, we got it from Papa. I see. It was just about the time your father died. Yes, just about then. And you know, I couldn't make that trip out to nurse him. I had to stay here, expecting Ivar at any moment. And with my poor sick Torvald to care for. Dearest Papa, I never saw him again. Christine, oh, That was the worst time I've known in all my marriage. I know how you loved him. And then you went off to Italy? Yes, we had the means now, and the doctors urged us, so we left a month later. And your husband came back completely cured? Sound as a drum. But the doctor. Who? I thought the maid said he was a doctor, the man who came in with me. Yes, that was Dr. Rank, but he's not making a sick call. He's our close friend and he stops by at least once a day. Tell me, is it really true that you weren't in love with your husband? Why did you marry him then? My mother was still alive but bedridden and helpless, and I had my two younger brothers to look after. In all conscience, I didn't think I could turn him down. No, you were right there. But was he rich at the time? He was very well off, I'd say, but the business was shaky, Nora. When he died, it all fell apart and nothing was left. And then? Now it's over, Nora. My poor mother doesn't need me, for she's passed on, nor the boys either. They're working now and can take care of themselves. How free you must feel! No, only unspeakably empty. Nothing to live for now. Standing up anxiously. That's why I couldn't take it any longer out in that desolate hole. Maybe here it'll be easier to find something to do and keep my mind occupied. If I could only be lucky enough to get a steady job, some office work. So now we move on to the questions. If you need to read again, well, you do need to read again, so read twice and then let's go to the questions. 11. The stage directions in the opening scene, lines 1 to 7, reveal that the meeting between Nora and Mrs. Linde is A. Cheerful, B. Awkward, C. Purposeful, D. Businesslike. The answer is B. Awkward. And remember, we're only paying attention to the stage directions here. So if you look at the stage directions, she says, "Hello, Nora," in a dispirited and somewhat hesitant voice. And then Nora is uncertain. And then she realizes who it is, and then she's exclaiming. And then more quietly, everything is a bit awkward. There's nothing cheerful, purposeful, or businesslike. 12. The audience is made aware of the season through the references to A. Traveling and a coat, B. The cold and Christmas, C. Christmas and the long trip, D. Fireplaces and traveling clothes. The answer is the cold and Christmas. So here we have a reference to Christmas. She assumed that she came to enjoy Christmas, then asked her if she was still not cold. And then they actually even mentioned the word winter and that it took courage to travel during the winter. So it's showing that taking a trip during that time was probably not even common, especially for an older person like Mrs. Linde. So moving on. 13. From the extract, the audience learns that Torvald A. worked hard and was a good provider, B. resigned his job in order to marry Nora, C. overworked himself and could not travel, D. was promoted at the office after his marriage. The answer is A. worked hard and was a good provider. 14. Which of the following adjectives best describe Nora? A. aloof and meek, B. warm and hospitable, C. focused and forgetful, D. light-headed and generous. She is warm and hospitable. And remember, even if you think that some of the other adjectives also describe Nora, you have to pay attention to the word best, which they have typed in capital letters. So why do these two words best describe her? Throughout, she seems to be very hospitable, especially here when she tells her to take off her coat, asks her if she's still not cold, then tells her you can come here by the stove to get cozy. Then she gives her the better chair. So it's all quite hospitable and warm. So next one, the best explanation of the dramatic impact created by the lines, and he left you nothing. Feed on. Lines 25 to 30 is that they A. Create a light-hearted atmosphere. B. Provide comic relief to the audience. C. Understate the conflict between the characters. D. Heighten the intrigue about Mrs. Linde's situation. Our answer is D. Heighten the intrigue about Mrs. Linde's situation. 16. Mrs. Linde's role is significant because she A. Adds to the setting and becomes part of the props. B. Is contrasted with Nora, representing all she is not. C. Symbolizes perfection and travel to foreign countries. D. Is a valuable friend to Nora and has been supportive. So here is B, is contrasted with Nora, representing all she is not. 17. The best explanation of the function of Nora's speech in lines 48 to 51, yes, my marriage, is that it? A. Serves to outline her financial situation. B. Helps to develop her character as a devoted mother. C. Makes the audience aware of the present tension in her marriage. D. Alerts the audience to her sense of loss created by her father's death. The answer is D. Alerts the audience to her sense of loss created by her father's death. And if we look at these lines, she says, yes, just about then, and I couldn't make that trip out to nurse him. I had to stay here, expecting Ivor at any moment, and with my poor sick Torvald to care for. So she's saying she could not make the trip out to take care of her father. And dearest Papa, I never saw him again, Christine. She is very sad about this. It was the worst time in all her marriage. So it is not highlighting tension in her marriage. It's really focusing on the sadness of losing her father. And some might say B helps to develop her character as a devoted mother, but you have to look at what the focus on these lines is. Yeah, she comes across as a good mother because she's expecting her baby, so she can't be running all over the place, but the focus here is on the father. So let's move on. 18. What is the main theme in this extract? A. Death and rebirth. B. Gender awareness. C. Marriage and family. D. Wealth and longing. The answer is C. Marriage and family. Now, if you're a bit deep, you might say death and rebirth because we have a lot of death happening there. The mom and the dad and Mrs. Linde moving is like being reborn in this different environment. But what is the main theme? So throughout, the theme of marriage and family occurs more than death and rebirth. So the most appropriate answer would be C. 19. The real reason for Mrs. Linde's trip is to A. Visit Nora and her family. B. Return to that desolate hole. C. Travel overseas after 10 years. D. Obtain a job and start a new life. The answer is D. Obtain a job and start a new life. She actually says that in some of the final lines. 20. The most suitable title for this extract is A. Papa's Memories, B. Friends Reunited, C. Returning to Italy, D. Christmas Festivities. And the most suitable title is Friends Reunited. So I hope that this video was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments, and I will see you next time.